Hello, everybody. That's a wrap. That's a
Yep.
wrap. After about 35 seasons, over like 800 or so episodes, so many Christmas specials and crossover events and all the special stuff that we love so very much. The Arrowverse with the Flash has officially concluded. I am here today with three very special guests. Of course, a very special episode. I have Buddy from the Tatless on YouTube channel once again back. Taz here once again. Thank you again for being here. I don't know what I just said. And COV Chosen Vader back once again. It's been a while, Chosen, but it's great to have you
Yeah.
back on the channel. So that happened. No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, that was quite a finale, and there's obviously a lot on our chest, a lot we want to say, but I do kind of want to just go around really quick and talk about just how we're feeling about the show ending. Like, obviously, this is a show that means a lot to us. Like, the fact that some people are angry right now and have a lot of thoughts and have a lot of feelings means that it's a show that we obviously all care about so very much. So kind of starting with you, Buddy. I mean, how are you feeling that this show is over? It's done. Like, this whole universe is officially over.
It's crazy to me because the Arrowverse meant so much to me. It was so integral. I know that you posted something on Twitter similar to this, but like growing up and like really maturing with this universe as well. I have to say it's overwhelming to see that it's done, officially done. But at the same time, I have to be honest with myself. After the slow and halting end to the show has honestly made it so easy for me to let go. This season 9 has been so stressful to me, and I think I'm ending the show off with the thought that season 8's finale might have been the way to go, and I don't like that.
It is the end of an era for sure. I mean, the Flash has come to the finish line. The season's over, the series is over, something that's been such a massive part of our lives for so many years, not only just watching week to week, but also with us obviously covering the show as well. I mean, that's going to be, maybe the thing that I miss the most outside of just having the show on to watch week to week is having, something to discuss, something to theorize on, something to, just, talk back and forth with friends about. I mean, while this season might not have gone the way that we all wanted it to go or expected it to go, it's here now, it's over, and all we can do is kind of reminisce on the good times.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, Vader, do you have any feelings?
All right, listen. This show has ups and downs, okay? It has ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to miss the show overall because this is actually the first Arrowverse show I watched, actually. I didn't start to watch Arrow first. It was this show. And then after Flash, I think it was Supergirl, I'm assuming. And then it was Arrow. So I kind of got spoiled with Oliver dead in Crisis, so I kind of got spoiled with that. But yeah, I'm still going to miss the show, man. The Flash. Grant Gustin, best Flash. I don't care what anyone says. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like it was such like I wanted to kind of get all my opinions out on how I was feeling yesterday. I did a very like kind of cringy write down of all my opinions. Like, it's such an important franchise to me and such an important part of my life. Like, I met all my friends through the show. I've just recently I've met Buddy recently. I met Taz recently. I've been able to reach out to all these different content creators, and I would say I was obsessed with this franchise, and I think that's okay. Like, I think everyone's kind of obsessed with like something. Like, I've always associated it with like what most people do with football, and like each year they're like, oh yeah, I just watch that thing every Sunday for, let me look, the rest of my life. And that's kind of what everyone kind of does. So, I think definitely it officially ending it hurts. But I definitely agree with Buddy. Like, this season, like, it's been whiplash because like it's been a back and forth of like, this is kind of making it easier for me to say goodbye because this could be a lot better. But then we would have a episode like episode 9 and episode 10 where it's like, well, don't leave now. It's good again, But yeah, no, it's definitely I think a painful experience, saying goodbye for sure. I do want to look really quick before we actually start talking about the episode to see what people are saying. Crazy dude just said hello. I don't know him. Hey here. Definitely don't know this guy. Stranger liked the ending. I'm very happy to hear that. Like if anyone can enjoy this ending, I'm very happy. I think if anyone can enjoy any episode, that's always a good thing. I think I'm gonna have to sit on the ending a little bit. I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch it. Levi in the house once again. Thank you so much for being here. Levi also has many thoughts, and I think we all have many thoughts. Yeah, no, I think just the takeaway for so many people, like I think just to watch one show for 9 seasons is a lot. Like any show for going on for 9 seasons is a lot of time. But like you add 8 seasons of Arrow and 6 seasons of Supergirl and then 7 seasons of Legends and all this kind of stuff. Like it piles up really quickly. So yeah, no, it's definitely hard. So I do want to kind of transfer over to Taz here because I do want to warn people I missed about a good 26 minutes, 30 minutes of this episode. So I do want to transfer it over to Taz really quick. So Taz, take it away.
Alrighty, so we'll just start at the beginning, and I think this episode actually started off very strong. So we had that, call back to the classic opening monologue with Barry giving us that voiceover saying, I'm going to need you to believe in the impossible. I'm pretty sure that was ripped straight from season 1. It didn't sound like a new voiceover, but I just really liked seeing that here at the beginning. That was kind of something on my, I guess you could say, bucket list of things that I wanted to have in this final season. So it was nice to at least get a little bit of that here at the beginning. And we kind of hit the ground running. Like the beginning of it, I guess you could really say was kind of at like a breakneck pace. Like just stuff was happening like immediately from the get-go. And I think that was a great way to start it. But keeping that pace throughout the entire episode kind of made it feel a little jarring. Like it just didn't feel like there was enough time to really sit with anything. Like you would get the speedster team up right at the beginning. Cobalt Blue assembles all of the evil speedsters. He brings them from when they just died in their parts of the timeline. He takes Zoom right after the time wraiths get to him. Takes Reverse Flash. He's got that suit that he had back in season 8. You bring Savitar in right before he died. You bring in Godspeed and everything like that. He was going to die in the future. They're all together. They're in the negative speed force. And basically Cobalt Blue's like, I brought you guys here. We need to go kill Barry. Is pretty much the thing about that is it's like, all right, hop in guys, we're gonna go destroy the timeline. So then they go out into Central City, face off against Team Flash, and then we get quite the fight between everyone. What did you guys think about that? Because that was some good moments, but some characters did some interesting things. I'll just say that.
I think I was very conflicted in the beginning because I thought certain elements were really cool. Like you said, the pacing was definitely like on point in the beginning. Throughout the whole episode, not so much, but in the beginning it wasn't so bad. Seeing all the speedsters together was pretty cool. There's a couple nitpicks I have, like no one mentions Barry is one of the evil speedsters with them, a version of Barry. I would have liked that a little bit. But when it came down to the fight, what really just took me out of it was seeing Cecile fly. That,
Oh my god.
that was the one that was just like, no, I can't. No way we're
They fly
doing
now.
this. After everything you just set up with me, this is what you're giving me. That's the moment that took me out of it. There were some cool moments, some cool visual effects, but that one got me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like the setup was great, and then Cecile just started flying. Yeah, you had to throw that in there. But I mean, hey, we got some other really cool moments though.
Yeah.
For sure.
How does you remember? Yeah.
So I do have a question because obviously I've missed a bunch of this episode.
Yeah.
Do we explain Zoom at all? Do we explain where he's from?
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, so that's actually the one that we got the most explanation from. We got a little bit of a recreation of that final scene from the end of season 2. The time wraiths are about to get him. He's literally being surrounded by the time wraiths, and then he just appears in the negative speed force. and I guess the area of the negative speed force just so happens to be the West House, because the West House is, I guess, the most important building in Central City. So they all just kind of appear.
Okay.
Just like kind of one after another. Zoom appears, then Godspeed appears, and they kind of go back and forth a little bit, and then Reverse Flash is upstairs for some reason, and then he comes downstairs and he's like, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
That moment was so campy. I kind of like that moment, unironically.
Yeah,
that
I
was
did
that
too.
was actually funny.
I think that they just boosted the comedy up for these villains when I wasn't necessarily expecting that.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, I might look back and be like, this was pretty silly. These guys were being pretty whimsical today.
Yeah.
And I have a good
Can
opinion of that.
Go
Can
ahead.
I say something? I love the interaction between Godspeed and Zoom. That was good actually.
Honestly, yeah, I think that might have been Godspeed's like best moment in the show. It was actually pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I did also love how Reverse Flash basically called out Zoom for just being a derivative. He's like, "Oh, pretending to be the team's friend. I wonder where you got that one from." So that was
really
also
fun,
pretty
yeah.
funny. Just the banter back and forth between all of them was, I mean, if nothing else, it was nice to see all of Barry's villains actually all in one room and interacting. And I think
Nope.
this. Oh yeah, go ahead.
That was probably that opening with them interacting. That was probably the best part of the episode for me.
I would
Oh
agree.
yeah, yeah.
I
Totally.
agree, and I didn't even see it.
Yep. You can just imagine it. It's better than what we
Oh yeah,
you saw.
that sounds great.
But
I'm
yeah,
like
no-
listening to all this, and I was like, "This sounds much better. Like this sounds what I wanted."
If
No,
this
yeah.
was just the whole episode, I'd be happy.
Sure.
It was just the whole episode, just all of them, and then they just fight Barry for 45 minutes.
Perfect.
Perfect end. The end.
Yeah, I will say, and I'm assuming it didn't happen. I'm a little disappointed Joe didn't get to interact with Eddie at all. And I know that's jumping forward a little bit, but like that feels like a dynamic you would want to have when it comes to like Eddie being a villain. Like that's one of the
Yeah.
main things you want to see.
Yeah, that.
Now that you mentioned that, I wanted to see a fight between Zoom and Jay.
Yep.
Yeah. There is so many of these villains like coming back, and it was like I wanted to see certain like these interactions happened. Obviously, that Zoom and like Savitar stuff got cut, and I think that could have been really cool. Of course, Jay versus Zoom, and even characters that we didn't get back. Like I would have loved to see a remax with like Wally and Savitar, or I don't know, a bunch of
Sure.
stuff like that. That could have been really
Or-
cool.
Or Wally and Reverse Flash.
Yeah, they've never fought. I
would've
would have
liked
done.
Harry fight the villains. Would've been
That's
cool.
true. Yeah.
Or
Or, I
talk
mean-
to them at all, or acknowledge that
isn't
they were
Barry-
there
isn't
at
Barry
all.
fast?
He
He
didn't even
leveled up.
acknowledge them.
That's yeah.
Listen, Eric Wallace, you leveled up Barry in season 8. How come you can't keep that? Come on, man.
Yeah.
What-
I wonder
what-
how
Yeah, go.
much of that was the like COVID. But like me and Taz talked about this last week,
Yeah.
where like you couldn't have waited like a week to film. Like this is your final episode. I don't know. I guess business do business, but like it's very unfortunate, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely makes a lot of sense though now with that whole scene and everything. When everybody comes into the negative speed force, they all have their masks off, their cowls off. The only person who is still masked was Savitar, and that makes complete sense because Grant talked about the fact that there was a scene between Savitar and Zoom that was cut because he wasn't able to film at that time. So obviously we were gonna get a pizza face Barry interacting with
Sure.
Zoom, and like
Missed
that would have been so cool. And I don't think we've really ever seen like Savitar Barry in the suit just with the helmet off, but the suit's still on. So that kind of looked pretty cool if we would have seen
Okay.
that. I'm hoping somebody maybe does some fan art one day and we get to see what that might have looked like. But yeah, that also kind of like just reminded me of, I guess, something else that we were missing.
Sure. Let me look at some of these comments real quick, just so everyone can feel included. Also, did Cecile, where, oh,
I didn't even think about this at all.
I don't understand.
Also,
That is actually a
Allegra,
good point.
Allegra just randomly had a suit too.
Yeah, how did that happen? That's confusing.
I mean, Allegra's was just black leather.
I mean, it had some blue highlights in there.
That is true.
It's kind of like the Sue suit that we had a couple like seasons ago, the like black cat type thing.
I mean, that had
Also,
like
now that we
no
mention
detail.
Allegra, how the heck did Dawn let her do that? Come on, man. Dawn, seriously?
I don't
And you're
know.
saying you're the fastest man alive, Dawn. You're saying that you're faster than Zoom.
You know what? Do
So,
you want some sort of headcanon to make this make sense? You know how like the stupid Crystal makes Eddie like super campy and just silly. He's a silly guy. He's trying to steal Iris with the flowers and the teddy bear. He's whimsical, like I said. What if whenever Eddie shared that to all the other villains, they all became whimsical and silly as well? And so that's why Reverse Flash is just hippity hopping in and around and gets hit by Allegra's light beam. And that's why Zoom says his very famous line again, but it's worse. And that's how it works, is because it makes them campy and whimsical. It makes perfect sense.
That makes sense.
I think Eric Wallace nailed it. I think we just didn't see it.
I think it's just the more red your lightning is, the more campy you become as a villain. Because everybody got red lightning, and that was kind of cool.
That was cool.
Speedsters that didn't have it before.
The one speedster that looked weird with red lightning was Godspeed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will say.
Sure, it was definitely notable.
Probably the white with the red.
The contrast was interesting.
I honestly thought
Exactly.
Eddie would have blue lightning. Honestly, I thought he would have.
Yeah. I mean, we can just say headcanon now that the negative speed force is like balanced. That maybe it'll be blue because the light changed from red to blue.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Headcanon now.
I like it. I like this.
Yeah.
We can do this now.
I did enjoy the last 5 minutes. Like I pictured it, I guess, better. Like I pictured that like final montage, like dialogue being a little bit more, I guess, heartfelt, I guess. But I still thought it was nice. Like I thought this idea of like this whole time he's kind of been telling the story to Nora in a weird way. Which I guess is kind of like a retcon because at first he was telling it to Oliver, right? But I think it's still kind of a nice little tie-in. And I took this from Taz here for a second, so I'm so sorry. But I did think the ending was really fun, where he is like giving the lightning to all these different speedsters that we never got to see. Were you guys like, was getting those speedsters here something that you guys really wanted, or was that like on like a bucket list for like anyone?
Spin-off.
3 new shows, yay!
Well, I definitely wanted them to address the legacy of the Flash and kind of like how that carried on. I was more so hoping for like a flash forward to say like 2049, then maybe even further into the future, like where Thawne is from and everything like that. Maybe just seeing the Flash's legacy, seeing like the Flash Museum, that type of thing. But it was kind of nice to give us maybe kind of like a take on like the Speed Force storm from the comics and stuff like that, but instead it's Barry shooting out all the lightning, and then it kind of maybe satisfies people that wanted Barry to become the lightning bolt, but instead of giving himself speed, he gives others speed to again kind of like carry on the Flash's legacy. And I kind of had a feeling that was coming. If you looked at the opening credits, you did see a couple of names in there, like the actress coming back that was playing Avery Ho from the flashback episode from season 8, I believe. So I kind of had a feeling we'd get something like that. But I was I would say I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. If I'm being honest, I would have rather had a 2049 thing because that was much more significant to the show overall, year 2049. I think it's fine to wrap up all those little bows we could have had with mentions of those characters we've seen throughout the seasons. It's fine. I feel like it would have been cool once again, just like, that final run with Barry was personal because it was just Barry and us, right? But I think his whole speech and everything he's talking about in the montage we just had, it builds up a moment of seeing at least the lightning of all the speedsters running, but we didn't get that, or there was no, like, obviously they're not going to make suits. We're not going to see suits. I never expected that.
Yeah.
But like at least to see the lightning trail of these other speedsters, because that's like his whole point of his speech, is talking about the better world with these new speedsters in it. Meanwhile, we're just seeing Barry run again alone. And it was like that kind of missed for me. And I think that makes that moment worse. But I think if we would have had that connectivity, it would have been better for me, I guess. That's the way I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, no, it kind of feels like a take. Like I kind of agree with you. It definitely feels like a take on what I wanted the ending to be. Like this idea of like, well, now that Barry has grown, he can pass on the mantle to all these new speedsters, and like
Mhm.
in this like ideal ending for me, like I imagine like them in the future and him passing on the Flash mantle to like Wally, Nora, and Bart, and like they're like all the Flash now, and you can
Yeah.
end it with them all running together. Which again, I'm very disappointed we didn't even mention Bart this season unless they mentioned it this episode and that before.
They did in
Nora,
this
yeah,
episode.
Nora mentioned Bart.
Did they? Okay, okay, that's good at least. But still, it definitely felt weird that I don't know. Like it's again, it's not all their fault. Obviously, you can't have all these characters here, but like a scene like this episode where like their baby was literally just born. There's no way Wally wouldn't be there. There's no way Cisco wouldn't be. You know, that's my brain kind of
Yeah,
going
yeah.
crazy. But yeah, no, it was okay. I think. Um, I felt that Eddie just changed his mind out of nowhere because the pacing was so fast. It did feel like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say, I'll let the pep talk for this slide because it makes sense, right? Eddie was a hero. He stopped on.
Hmm.
So I'll let it slide, but I do agree the pacing was a little fast, so yeah.
I think they needed to fight a little bit before that. I think.
I agree
But
with that.
this dude
Definitely think you should have.
beat the crap out of Barry though. Like damn.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I almost could have done with more talking because I feel like Barry was just like, Eddie, stop. And Eddie was like, all right. And they stopped. Like I felt like he could have really
Yeah.
like you know how angry Barry was when he was talking to Keown about the 9 years of all of his friends dying. Give me that to Eddie. Give me
Yeah.
that because that is an emotion that Grant is trying to give off. In this, it was very like reluctant, kind of Grant's taking a backseat to the speech this time around.
Sure.
And it's like I would have liked a bit more of that Grant emotion. I feel like more talking could have been good. If
Sure.
you're gonna do talking for the final fight, like do it.
It got me like Winter Soldier vibes, but worse. Like that whole sequence where
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm not gonna fight you, Bucky. You either have to kill me or like walk away." It felt like that scene, but like less. It gave less. And I think that scene could have been really cool. Like Barry failed to save Eddie before, so he's not going to kill him now. He's not going to stop him now. But yeah, I think it could have been better. I guess.
I'm almost feeling like the more that I think about it, this episode should have been 2 episodes.
It
Yeah,
should have,
agreed.
100%.
It definitely could have been 2 completely separate episodes. Have one big like how everybody was kind of thinking that it was going to go is have a big, speedster fight episode,
Yeah.
be all one episode, and then have like a lot of like Cobalt Blue stuff, Barry fighting him and everything like
I
that,
agree.
and then kind of save more so like the speeches, the pep talks, the wrap up stuff for its own separate episode, and kind of maybe
Yeah.
like more so like an epilogue.
I feel like this graphic novel should have been 5 episodes. I think that's what should have been.
Yeah.
It's kind of jarring that it's not because
Yeah.
you got to think a wrap-up episode would be relatively cheap. Like the only effects you'd be doing really is if you're gonna do a Speed Force ending where Barry's running, or we're seeing the speedsters, or we're seeing the future. Realistically, it's gonna be the same thing we just saw: the loft, the speed lab, the stuff we
Yeah.
already have built. You probably didn't need one of these interlude episodes, and you could have done that because I feel like you could have. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know we can talk all live long day about the budgets, how the show has lost money, whatever. But it's like there's room to give us this final episode as a separate goodbye, and it would have been fine.
I have something to say actually.
Hmm.
Imagine season 8 is the final season, right? And you add this Cobalt Blue storyline in season 8. Would it be better?
Yes, 100%, no doubt. I mean, if you could include the Oliver episode in there too, that'd be great.
Yeah. I
But
was gonna
throw
say
away
that.
the rest of season 9. I hated the rest of it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember a single episode in full.
Yeah, I think season 8 should have been the final season.
Honestly, that's what I was thinking halfway through this episode. I'm like, damn, do I really think like the Power Ranger ending is like better? Like the big kaboom with the red explosion?
Yeah.
Like, was that better? And I kind of think so. But I think in hindsight, though, the idea that like it's a campy finale, I kind of like. I can almost dig it because the show completely changed. I feel like this is something we don't always talk about is like the show changed drastically. We talk about season 4, including the humor and being very light, but this entire show changed big time. And it's like hard to adapt to it because they keep teasing things of the past as like, we're going to bring them back and we're going to do a new innovative thing. But
Yeah.
then when they come back, it's the new style. It's very campy. I don't know how many people are going to know this, but it's like Ben 10 when it went from Ultimate Alien to Omniverse. It was very
Yeah.
different.
Yep.
But along the way, there are still great stories and moments that are even the best of Omniverse. But when you look into it, it's like, it's so campy. It's so different. It's just jarring to me. I don't know about you guys, but it just feels so jarring in comparison. Because I was rewatching the earlier seasons lately, and it's a big change.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think season 3 to 4 was a big one. Like, it felt like they were trying to like course correct so much that they went too far. Like, they went way too far in the other direction, and I don't think they were ever quite able to come back to like what it was. Like, I think season 2 had that perfect tone. It was very fun and goofy and silly, but it also got really dark. Like, season 2 is some of the darkest I think the show ever gets.
Best.
I gotta admit,
And season 3 even got pretty dark too.
I gotta admit,
season 3 is
I gotta admit, Zoom was probably the best like full season villain.
Agreed. That's why I was very disappointed by his appearance this week.
Yeah.
Yes, they did him dirty. You guys
They
did
really
him dirty.
did him dirty.
I can't believe that that's all they had from a week's worth of filming. Like, there's got to be
How's
that
so
There
many
had to be
scenes
more,
on
right?
the
There
cutting room
has to be
floor.
more. There's
There
no way that's in.
Like, release the Zoom cut.
Release the Zoom cut. I can get behind that one.
The Flash season 9 Legion of Zoom edition.
You know what? I had a feeling Eric Wallace would ruin Zoom in this.
I don't know. Yeah,
It's
I mean,
his favorite villain.
yeah, which is so
Right,
disrespectful.
yeah.
But like, not even an explanation to the new post-crisis timeline. I can almost kind of like just diss this as a different Zoom, and just keep mine from season 2. This guy
Yeah,
also
I mean,
can't walk up to darkness, but
It
he's a
kind
bit
of
more
is,
fun about
right?
it.
Like,
Yeah,
Also-
kinda.
the post-crisis Doom.
I love how when Savitar first appeared, he was just standing there like.
Yeah, no, you're so right. You're so right. Like,
He was just standing there doing nothing, and he's not even the god of speed anymore. He got defeated way too easily.
Yeah.
I don't know, when Zoom turned around and he said the goddess to Kyo, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kinda cool.
Sorry, oh my god, that's the only compliment I could think about.
Doesn't Thon usually talk a lot? That's like his whole gimmick.
He
isn't
just
it?
he keeps talking more every time that we see him. He's just like
okay.
just monologuing.
Yeah, it's kind of
Um,
like me if you don't interrupt me. It's like I just keep going. He just doesn't stop.
I love
think
how
it's-
now that you mentioned Thon, I love how when Chester was sitting there, and then you see Thon right there sitting in the wheelchair.
Yeah, that was great. Thon
That was
just like,
funny. I was like, bro, where was this guy? Like, how did he get there?
They still have the chair.
Yeah, they still have the
I think he
wheelchair.
Is that in the hall of villains?
it was probably in the Stark Hives. He just probably zipped down there, brought it up,
Oh,
just
yeah.
to like set it down for a prop.
Oh, that's so good. I'm kind of glad we brought back the black hole powers, because I was about to be so mad that he could take all of that lightning. Talking about
Okay.
Chester could take
Oh,
all
yeah,
that
no,
lightning and not die.
Yeah, I'm glad that actually they brought that up. Actually, I'm glad they did, because I was like, damn.
I wrote that down. I was
Much
like,
better
that's-
explanation than just Allegra's light powers of love, or whatever.
So do we think he does become like a superhero? Because there seems no sign of that in the future. But I don't know. Maybe
Who
he's
knows? Maybe
He
Iron-
can just
I'm-
tank lightning.
Listen, the timeline can change. It could change.
That's
anytime.
true. That's true.
I mean, it's already changed. I mean,
Yeah.
Cecile has
Yeah.
the suit now, way in advance. You
Sure.
know, all this.
Eddie's here now, and he wasn't
Eddie's-
there in
yeah.
the future. Yeah.
Exactly.
Marnie Moose liked the finale. I love to hear it. I'm always glad when people can like things that maybe we necessarily didn't.
Can I mention
Um,
something real quick? I want to
yeah,
mention
go ahead.
something. I feel like people are dissing Eddie's running. I actually think Eddie's running was kind of cool. I
No,
don't think
I'm
it's
with
that-
you.
It's better than Godspeed's. It's better than Bart's. It's better than Mina's. So
It was kind of dope. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I liked it. I wish we would have seen more.
Do we think the Arrowverse is officially over? I think for now, yes. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
for the
cool with
time
it.
being, no. You don't think so? Is that what you said? Hello.
Is he there?
That's a cliffhanger.
We'll find out
All
next
right.
week.
No, I think we could always dive back in. I mean, like Eric Wallace is like, we could come back and do more, and I think I would be shocked if we never see Grant Gustin's Flash again. Like, I think the Arrowverse has opened up this like generation's nostalgia train. I think
Sure.
Yeah.
5-10 years from now we'll see all these characters come back in like Crisis or whatever. They'll bring them back in we'll have our like No Way Home Flash movie with like a 90-year-old John Wesley Shipp and
Oh my god.
Grant and like Ezra Miller and all these things. And I think Stephen Amell will come back, and I think Tyler Hoechlin will probably get something at some point. Like, I think we'll definitely see all these characters. Maybe not within the Arrowverse, but at some point, or there's even that talk of like, could like Stephen Amell come back for like an Arrow movie or something. I think that's always an option at some point, but I definitely think for now it's over.
Oh yeah.
I think we're gonna get like a reunion special. That would be
That'd
about
be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd say it's definitely much more of a soft ending. Kind
Yeah.
of like, we're done for now, but the story continues and we can always come
Sure.
back to it.
And I think I think that's probably the best way to do it. Like, I think ideally I would have loved some kind of like movie wrap up or movie event or something, to wrap everything up one last time. But, obviously it didn't happen. And like, I will say, I'm glad it is the Flash that's ending everything. Like, I can't imagine if it was like Legends of Tomorrow or Batwoman or even like I think it always had to have been either Arrow, Flash, or like Superman and Lois. I think it always had to be one of those three to kind of wrap everything up.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I feel like a lot of people have already said this, and I'll just kind of reiterate it. Is the Oliver return episode 9 definitely felt like an Arrowverse finale, and then
Yes.
the A New Worlds parts 1 through 4 was the Flash finale. So I'd say that, in both regards, I think we got a nice wrap up for the wider Arrowverse and also for the series.
Sure. Would you? Okay, so I do have to wonder. Would you have preferred either episode 9 or episode 10 as the series finale than this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like
Going back
episode
in
10
time.
should have been the episode 10 should have been the final.
Yeah,
That should have been
that felt like a better finale. Like, I obviously I didn't see all of this one, so I missed all the, I guess, fun stuff, but that felt more of like a, oh my gosh, it's happening. Like, I got very emotional versus during everything. So maybe you pushed that, like you turned that into like a 2-episode thing, where like you do have an ending where he does go back and he does have like a final moment with something. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, honestly. I mean, I feel like where episode 10 was, it's great as like a standalone episode. And if you would have like injected a lot of this, Cobalt Blue stuff, all of the other speedsters and things returning, it might not have been as impactful. But then again, ending the show on sort of like that full circle moment could have also been a nice way to wrap things up. But
Sure.
B-roll just went off. Sorry, guys.
I'm very behind on chat. Let's see. Zoom being defeated by Keon was so dumb. I
agree.
figured.
It was
It
was poetic. Can I
Yeah.
be real for a second?
Yeah.
Because it's like when Zoom was first coming in with 2x06 enter Zoom, whatever, that was the big one.
Yeah.
Like Zoom came in, Barry threw that lightning, and Zoom just Uno reverse card that hoe. And it was awesome. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was like, okay, hey now. Zoom, you got your wow. And then he dragged him around the city, right?
Yeah.
It's really funny that Zoom went out the exact same way because he threw the lightning, watched Keon catch it, throw it right back at him, and that's how he went.
Okay.
I'm like, are you kidding? You went out the way you came in, dude, with your
And
own
it's-
move. It's almost.
I wish that was Barry. I wish that was Barry, not Keon.
Yeah, if it was Barry, it would have been so much more different because it would have actually been kind of cool. Like Barry's actually learned, but that's a pretty simple move. Barry should know by now, so it's not as
Yeah.
cathartic, I guess. But he could have blocked it with his lightsaber.
well, they had the Speed Force javelins.
Oh yeah,
And that was kind of interesting, like Speed Force jousting. Make that a Speed Force sport. No, we should have had the Speed Force Olympics. So like all the speedsters just run around Central City. Then you do some Speed Force jousting, some Speed Force lightsaber fights.
Yeah.
And then whoever gets the most wins just wins, I guess.
Do we like speed contracts? Because I heard a lot of people don't like them. I think they're cool, but I think they're used way too much.
They're
It's
too
hit or
much like
miss.
Green Lantern to me.
Yeah.
I think the
see
only
that.
time it wasn't used was episode 9, right? Where he was fighting Dark Kid Flash or something.
I mean, they still made the lassos.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had like the shield, I think.
Oh yeah, that is true. They still made that.
I think less is more. I think I do prefer just I guess running and punching, but I guess when you go for 9 seasons, you gotta if you just did running and punching every single time,
Right,
it might
right.
get a little
With a
dry.
little
So
bit of
I get it,
lightning throws in there.
and I will say it's cool to see. I guess Barry evolve as a hero. It's cool seeing him learn to do more things and evolve. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Eric Wallace was talking about how Keone would ascend in the final arc, but maybe I'm blind. But that wasn't what I witnessed.
Hey, that pep talk. That pep talk was essential to get Barry to do the thing on the
I
script,
mean,
guys.
She also had to be there to turn Chillblaine into dirt and then bring him back so he could have one final time of wearing a coat that's completely unzipped in the Vancouver cold.
It was worth it. At least we got that one last time.
I'm still very mad what we did with Caitlyn this season, but I'm grateful she's at least alive, that she's back.
Thank God.
So dumb.
It's really dumb.
It was almost completely pointless because we all knew from the beginning that Caitlyn would be back by the finale. So why was Keone even here? If they were gonna have Keone, they could have just made her just be a separate entity if she's that powerful.
Sure.
Why couldn't they have just created a second body?
Honestly, you know what would have been cooler and more of a connection to the show that we were watching? You know how we saw the forces get created because of Barry and Iris and the whole artificial speed force? What if when Caitlyn was doing the shit with Snow, it connected her to the life force and made her the avatar of the life force, and that way you get to do the stupid storyline that we just saw and you keep Caitlyn around, because there you go. It would work, because that whole artificial speed force thing and then Barry and Iris creating it, I could see a version where Caitlyn just connects to the life force and it works.
Yeah.
Because why not? At least you don't have to have the slap in the face of Caitlyn being gone all season, and you get to have your newbie god.
Sure. I also think it could just add to her. I was talking about this the other day with Taz. Her life, her whole thing has just been she's sad. She's always sad, and I think you could end her arc with well, you've gone through all this pain and suffering and terribleness. Let's make it all worth it and make you a god and make your life have some meaning, I think that could have been a fun little ending for her, but
that would have been awesome.
Yeah. Instead, she just stays the same that she was for the last
or at least let her keep the frost powers. So then she's like, oh, there's a little bit of frost left within me.
Sure.
And she's got the ice powers, but there's no evilness or anything.
You could even explain it by Keone gave us one little gift as a goodbye.
Yeah.
There's guys this is stuff that kind of actually works with the show we're watching. Not necessarily the greatest writing of all time, but this works. That's so frustrating, and we've been talking on here for less than 40 minutes. It's I think way cooler than what we actually got.
I think you brought up a really good point though when you mentioned the forces being created. I think that's really when the show took a turn. If you think about it, ever since Barry lost his speed, they had to make the artificial speed force and recreate the speed force and rebirth it. We got the forces storyline, and we haven't been able to escape the forces ever since.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very, very
and
true.
the forces in one way or another have played into every storyline season since in some capacity.
That
was a mistake.
Very consistent issue with the show is bringing those forces in. At least Dion was fun to watch.
I did like Dion. It's weird because I kind of praised it at first because I think I praised it for being so unique to the show. it was so different than any, I guess, quote unquote main villain that we had seen before. It wasn't just a speedster, it wasn't just like a normal villain. It was like a part of nature was like coming after him. I thought that was cool for a total of like maybe 2 episodes, and then I was over it.
Yeah, I don't. It had potential, but
Sure, I think Eric Wallace was an idea man. Maybe not an executioner, but like he didn't know how to execute these ideas. I'm very glad he's not getting Swamp Thing. Apparently, he wanted to take on Swamp Thing, and I'm glad he is not.
Oh man, that feels like
Yeah.
a bullet dodged right there.
Yeah, apparently, like he said in some kind of article or something that like he would love to take a stab at the Swamp Thing movie or whatever. No.
No, thank you.
Let me see. So do you guys have any final thoughts? I guess I'm trying to read through some of these comments really quick because there's a lot of people commenting. I do very much appreciate it. It's always fun to read what everyone else is thinking. But do you guys have any kind of final thoughts before we might move on to something else?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry if you hear my cat. She's got the zoomies right now, and I don't blame her. I very much understand that. But my final thoughts, I think, is that like The Flash has been such a big part of my life. I've really enjoyed this show. I had problems with the show. I had very bad days with the show, but I also had very good ones. And I've met a lot of people through the show in the Arrowverse, and it's genuinely something I hope I don't forget in my life. I think it's very cool. I hope we get a reunion. The show's over, and while I did not like the finale, I was very dissatisfied with it. I'm going out of the show still a fan of the show. I still like Grant Gustin. He's one hell of an actor. He's my Barry Allen. And I also think it's interesting that right before the show aired, we had Ezra Miller cast as the role, and now the show has ended, and now we're going to see Ezra Miller's The Flash movie. Now, there's a lot of controversies behind that film, but I do think there is some sort of poetic nature in that. And I hope that if I were to see Grant Gustin's Flash soon again, it would be in that movie, and that they all lied to us, and that it is in the
That'd
movie.
Be great.
You already have a scene filmed of it. It's so stupid not to have it in there. That's it.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that like a Flash movie focusing on like alternate versions of different characters doesn't have like either Grant Gustin or John Wesley Shipp. Like the idea that a Flash movie has like Michael Keaton Batman but not John Wesley Shipp is insane to me. Like they could so easily be on the same Earth. Outside of like what the Arrowverse did, but like I mean like in tone and like style, they could totally be on the same Earth.
The Flash movie should have just been like Barry Allen, Wally West, and Jay Garrick going through the multiverse. Same exact thing, but just have to be the Flashes, man.
If he wasn't filming like 22 like episode seasons, that second Barry being Grant would be so sick.
Could you imagine?
So cool.
Ezra, Grant, and John Wesley Shipp in a movie like that sounds incredible.
What do we do? Yeah.
And then just for fun, add in Keenan Lonsdale Wally. You got yourself
that'd be so good.
At least $1 billion.
Like you could have CW Wally meet DCEU Wally at the time too. That'd be kind of interesting too.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like, and it could be the red and silver too. It could be like, I don't know. That sounds way more cool than what we're getting, but
yeah,
here we are.
I am very excited though. I'm very that movie I think is gonna blow people away. Or everyone who has seen it has joined a cult and they're lying to us. That's what it feels like.
Waiting to see like 50% on Rotten Tomatoes and be like, oh wait, hold on. Because right now it's like I expect that thing in the 90s. I don't really care about Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be shocked. Actually, I'm not gonna be shocked at all if it's so low. But if it's actually in the 90s, high 90s, I'll be like, oh wait a minute, this is actually gonna be good. Like good.
I'd say probably realistically, critically, they'll probably be in like the 70 to 80 range, and then audience could possibly be in the 90s.
Yeah, sure.
I'm very interested about that film. It's very unique.
I think it's also going to be hard. I think any comic book movie going forward is going to be very hard to get high reviews because I just think people are tired. Like I think critics are tired. But oh well.
Yes, unless it does something like drastically different, it's going to be difficult for it to kind of like, break through into those, higher review scores, I guess.
Speaking of that, Spider-Verse hasn't gotten its release, right?
No, I don't think so. Should be
I
soon.
think that's the June 2nd, I believe.
Yeah, officially comes out June 1st. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Nice birthday present. Do you think the Arrowverse could return in comic books? I don't, but I would love it. I would like it.
They did comics for Smallville, didn't they?
They did a season 11, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the Earth Prime comics were somewhat successful, I think. Maybe. Possibly. I'd like
think
to
it
see
would be
them.
better. Like, there's so many... It'd probably be better than the shows, just because you can do really whatever you want.
Sort of like with animation, you get a lot more freedom,
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I think that would be the dream for me. Was just like animated films and like shorts and stuff that like continue this universe. Obviously, it wouldn't happen, but like...
Right. Continuation of the
Yeah,
Arrowverse
sure.
with the Spider-Verse style animation.
Oh, peak. Yeah, no,
There
for
we
sure. Let me see. I
I have a
would
question
love...
from you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but
No, go ahead.
just really being honest, where does this season rank for you right now? Because our opinions will
Oh,
change
okay.
as the
Let's
days
do
go
that,
on. but
actually,
where is
yeah,
it
yeah.
right now?
Do you guys just want to go
okay.
through like the rankings? Do you just want to rank them?
Kind of.
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does
Let's
anybody
rank
else have any thoughts? I don't wanna,
I'd like to.
Let's rank them. I have mine.
I
Let's
don't
rank
even
the
have mine.
seasons. This is
I don't
actually
have 'em.
perfect because I have posters for each like season pulled up here. Like I could just...
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta rank them real quick. I gotta be honest
Okay.
with you.
Yeah, hold on.
Do we want to do like number 9 and we all say like our number 9s?
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
Or do
pull
we
up
wanna
the-
go
So
one
we're,
at a
we're
time?
going. Okay, so worst to best, and we're just gonna go from like what's your 9 spot to 8.
Yeah.
instead.
Okay. I think that's the easiest here.
All right,
That
hold on.
sounds... I'm actually very curious.
Oh damn! I think I have to do it.
I kind of knew where my 9 was going to be before. But this finale is kind of like conflicting now. Because I thought they would have a better ending. Okay.
Oh. Oh man. Okay, I got mine.
I got my list.
Okay. I think I have formulated the definitive season ranking.
My bottom 3 are so back and forth. Like any one of them could be my least favorite.
Okay, my top like 3 people will probably agree with, and then I might lose some people.
Mm.
I
Trauma
don't know.
Central, yes, for now. For now, at least. It's over. It's done so. Unless you count Super and Lois, but Earth Prime is over, if you will. Alrighty, so number 9, the worst season. What's everyone's worst season of the whole show?
Season 7.
Season 7. Okay.
Season 7 for me
Season
too.
7, buddy.
Yep.
Season 9.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
You went
I
there.
was like, I think it's the worst.
Wow. I don't
I think
blame you.
Even with
good
even
episodes.
with the Oliver episode.
You get 2 good episodes. That ratio is the worst I've ever seen in the show.
Yeah.
Out of
that's
13,
fair.
you got 2
Yeah.
out of 13. That's
Yeah.
easily the worst season for me. And those episodes are perfect 10 out of 10s for me. I cried at
Sure.
both of those episodes. I loved both of those episodes. It's the worst season.
I have season 7 as well. Like I've gone
Okay.
back and forth. Like my bottom 3. Like I like B for this year. I was 5 because I did not like 5. But you know what? I'll say that later. Never mind.
But our stream from Sunday completely
yeah.
changed your mind.
I was on the fence. I was. All right. What's everyone's number 8?
Season 9.
Season 9.
Season 9.
Season 7. Look at that.
Season 9. Yeah. Oh, all right. What's everyone's number 7 then?
Season 5.
Season 5.
Season 5.
Interesting. I have season 8.
Ooh. Okay,
Oh,
I gotta know the
Don't do this to
comparison
me.
between them. I gotta know.
We'll just wait until we see where my season 5
Okay.
is. And I
Okay.
have actually a really good reason why I have season 5 where it is. And a lot of it honestly almost doesn't have to do with the content of the season, and I'll get to it.
No,
I'll get to
I'm
it.
excited for that. That gets me kind of optimistic. I want to hear that.
Okay. All right. What's everyone's number 6?
Season
Season
4.
8.
I've season 6.
Ooh.
Buddy, what's yours?
Season 8.
Mine's 4.
Yeah, me and him have the same one.
Oh, I don't
Armageddon just couldn't hold up for me. I didn't like the rest of the season.
really. I love
The rest of the season. Like not to talk about my channel, but that was the most hate I'd ever gotten. Was I hated
I
Death
remember
Storm
that, yeah.
so much, and that ruined the rest of the season for me. Yeah, season 8 was rough for me. Armageddon was great.
Everyone giving their rankings. I'd love to see it. All right. Top 5. What's everyone's number 5?
Season 6.
Interesting.
Season 4.
Season 4 as well. Yeah.
I got season 8.
That's fair. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
I really like Neil Sandilands. I think he deserves to be in the top 5.
That's fair.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I just wish he was there more.
Agreed.
I think the Thinker was definitely the best non-speedster villain.
No doubt.
Bloodwork is a close second, but
I agree.
Bloodwork's my favorite, I think. I think he's my non. I mean, he's in my top 3 of the whole show. You know what? I really hated season 4 when I first watched it, but I also have not seen it since. Like, I've not rewatched season 4, and I need to do that. I think both 3 and 4 improve with these new seasons. Like, I think they look amazing retrospectively. Like, back then we're like, this stinks, but now it's like, this is so good.
I think after season 7, everything before that like just gets elevated because of it.
Yeah, I agree. The body swapping really just keeps happening.
Yeah. All right. What's everyone's number 4? 4. Yeah.
Season 3.
Season 3?
6.
This is where my controversy comes in. Season 5. And a little reason why is because I feel like it's a little bit of a personal reason, but it's because I feel like this is when I was like the most consistent with content, with like theories, with all that type of stuff. I I had a great theory. Like I called the reverse Flash thing with, Nora working with Dawn in the future and stuff like that. I don't know. I have good memories watching it and covering it. I haven't gone back to rewatch it in a while, but just still like looking at clips and stuff from that season. Also, they had the 100th episode and everything in there as well. I believe season 5 was also Elseworlds.
Yeah.
So, and that's controversially also my favorite crossover. Please
That's
don't.
a great crossover.
Yeah.
But yeah, season 5, number 4.
That's valid then. That's very valid.
I feel like I'm almost the opposite. Like, that was the closest I ever went from like leaving the show. It also didn't help that was also the same season almost all my friends left as well. Like, everyone was ditching me. I was like, oh, okay. I get no one to talk about it anymore.
That bicycle helmet did dangerous things. That
I
kill
did-
all metas.
I did not like Cicada. Cicada was... and it's just 22 episodes of that was hard. Like, at least it was like newer seasons that we at least kind of got to mix it up with like the whole story. Like, if we didn't like the whole Red Death, it was only 5 episodes and then it was done. We had 22 episodes of like, all metas must die.
But at least the story was progressing.
Sometimes
Did it though? Did it though?
I mean, you also
He got away every damn time.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Cicada just flies up the way and like.
you
I
also
think-
had Sherlock.
Oh yeah, I think he's underrated as well.
Oh, really? It might be a hot take. I didn't really like him.
I liked him more than Nash.
Really?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
I don't
I don't
know. I
know.
didn't like him.
I don't know. I still like Nash better.
I think HR is the best of the ones that's not
Oh,
Harry.
really?
Harry's my favorite.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
Harry's my
Harry's
favorite.
best.
He's easily the best one. But like,
HR and Harry are probably the best ones.
Yeah.
HR was cool. I really liked
Do
it.
we count like Welzabard? Do we count him?
Well, I think we have to because of the show's logic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because he was Harrison Wells in season 1, pretending to be Harrison Wells. So, of course.
That'd be a fun ranking all the Wells.
The Wellses, yeah.
The
that'd be
Wells
kinda fun.
is.
All right. So top 3.
Season 8.
Wow, that's actually high.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just like that season so much. After, like, I'll admit, after season 7, I wanted to stop watching the show. But then when
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
8 came, I was like, okay, I'm back on the show again.
I
I-
need to hear your thoughts on Deathstorm.
Deathstorm, okay, listen. He wasn't great, but if you compare that arc to the Red Death arc, you'll see the difference.
That's fair.
You know what? It was slightly more entertaining to watch a giant fireball than Red Death sometimes. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I think season 8 kind of has like the writing of a lot of the stuff I don't like in the show, but it's also just a lot of fun. Like every arc, I'm like fully like entertained. I think it's just a lot of fun. Even like, I think Ronnie helped me like keep on to the whole like Deathstorm arc because like I wanted Ronnie to come back as like a villain for years. Like I thought that was gonna be really fun. I was so disappointed with it because you know what? I don't think that was their fault though because I just wanted him to come back. Like I was like, no, he's a villain, no. But I personally really enjoyed.
That's funny. You know
Season
why? Because both Ronnie and Eddie became
Yeah.
a villain.
You know what? If I'll give Eric Wallace one thing, he did pull through, giving us the like 4-ish villains that people have been begging for. Like we got Ronnie back as a villain, we got Eddie back, we got Red Death, and we got Godspeed. Were they good?
No,
I don't know, but at
we
least
got 'em.
Hey, at least we
yeah,
got
yeah,
him.
we got him. At least he pulled through in a way.
Mine was season
Um,
3.
You are perhaps the worst showrunner I've ever heard of.
Did everyone
have
give
heard of
their
me.
3?
Season
Oh, I
3.
didn't.
Season 3 for me, yeah, as well.
Savitar. He's awesome. I love him.
Yeah,
I
I
don't care.
got it. Sabotage.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I love Savitar.
I don't think I gave my 4 or my 3. 4 was 3 for me, and
Okay.
3 was 6. I really, really like season 6. Like season 6, I felt like it brought me back to the show. Like I was at such a low point with season 5. I really felt like it fixed up in season 6. And I even like the back half. Like a lot of people really do not like it.
Listen,
I really like it. Like you have Grodd, you have Wally.
yeah.
I even like Mirror Mistress. Like that's my probably biggest hot take. I really like Mirror Mistress. I just think it doesn't look good because we had to wait like 10 months to watch it.
Yeah.
She's not a terrible villain, but I just wish they didn't pep talk her and make her.
No,
become
that's totally fair. That's
Are you counting the season 7 episodes as season 6?
Yes.
yeah,
Some of
probably.
them, right? Because the first
Yeah,
3
well-
episodes.
I like the
almost-
first 2. I do not like the final episode though.
Yeah,
I
the
think
first
that
2 are
the
really
back
good.
half of season 6 is so much better without that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree too because it's a different ending too because the heroes don't win.
Mhm.
Like that's the only season that Team Flash technically loses at the at the end of.
Yeah.
So, I think in that regard it makes it very unique at least.
Yeah, I also like how she didn't care about Barry. Like she wanted nothing to do with him. She was just like Barry was just like an obstacle. Like Barry
Yeah.
could have kept on moving and she would not have cared. It was like she's just in the way. And I
Yeah.
thought that made her a lot more interesting than any villain that had come prior. But yeah, no, I fully think if they aired them all at once, it would be a much better season.
You know what? Now thinking about it, I think she might be a better villain than Red Death.
Oh, I 100%.
100%.
Agree. Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I
at
think-
least listen, at least she terrorized the city, and you know, like
Her
she
actor was
wrong.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Is
I
it a
don't
hot
remember her
take to
name,
say I
but
prefer
man,
her
they were
over
great.
Cobalt Blue? Like,
Wait,
I
what?
literally think I like her more than Eddie this season.
No,
Oh, 100%. No, I'm right there with you. Eddie
Yeah.
I
was
disagree with that.
That's fair.
I did not like Eddie. Eddie was giving a very Red Death-like performance sometimes.
I wish we had more of him actually as Cobalt Blue. He was Cobalt Blue for an episode and 10 minutes.
One
basically.
name
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have given more episodes because
Yeah.
the interlude episodes kind of ruined that for me. Because why would you give us interlude episodes that are not interesting? Like you could have give us one interlude episode or 2 maybe, and that's it maybe. Or you know what they could have done? Forget about the Red Death arc. just forget about that. We don't need that, We don't need that. We could just build up Cobalt Blue, like maybe give us a little bit of interlude episodes, setting up Cobalt Blue, all that stuff. That could have been way better.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Or maybe even extend the Cobalt Blue arc and kind of like interject some of the interlude episodes like in between certain things, and then maybe give us
Yeah.
like cliffhangers
Make
at
it
the
feel
end,
like a
just
longer.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, just like give us like little like 3 to 5 minute things at the end of each
Sure.
episode. Just kind of,
Imagine
setting
now that
up
you
more.
say that, imagine season 9 was 15 episodes and this
Yeah.
arc was 6 episodes.
Hmm.
I think that could have worked a little
6
bit
might
better.
be a lot.
But still, hey, I
Yeah,
want
no, I get
a
what
long,
you mean.
I want a
I'm ready.
longer arc with Cobalt Blue, I need more Eddie.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see him more in the campy
Yeah.
style. Like that's my whole thing is if you're gonna do the campy thing, because I just accept it, it's camp, but you need to make it a bit more easy for me to kind of get into it that way.
Yeah.
I guess like give me some more substance to this meal.
Hey, I want to say one thing though. I like the whole build up with Eddie becoming a villain and the whole thing with him becoming Cold Blue. It's a way better build up than Godspeed.
No, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Godspeed did not have a story. I don't think
No.
Yeah, and he had 4 episodes too. That's funny.
he had. Like we found out his motivation like the finale. I remember
Yeah.
that. I was like, what?
And we found out Eddie's motivation kind of episode 11 or episode 12.
I still don't like his motivation. Still isn't that great to me.
It's
No,
very,
like,
very,
Oh,
it was
man,
very
it
thin.
was a little off because you want revenge because Barry did this and he killed himself for nothing. It's like, yeah, Ultimate is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But if
mean,
the Speed Force is going to allow you to rewrite the timeline, why are you interacting with Barry or Iris at all? Why aren't you just getting the life you wanted?
Yeah, I
That's
think
what I'm saying.
Don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I had Taz tell me like what, like, because I completely forgot. I was like, what's this man about? I literally could not remember, and now I've already forgot. Like, I don't remember what we talked about. But no, like, I definitely think there's a big issue. It's weird because I think these pods are like the way they should go. Like, I think pods are really cool. If anyone watches Shield, like that, they like perfected that whole thing.
Yeah, they
Where
did.
it's like you introduce a villain in the first half and then you have a second half, and by the end they all connect into one large story, and it's perfect. And I thought that's kind of where we were going with this show, and it feels like sometimes they tried. It's just, I don't know, maybe they didn't have the right talents to pull it off. And almost every villain felt like half baked,
I
except
think
for go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, go ahead. No, it's just like the biggest downfall of these graphic novels was the fact that they just oddly didn't feel like they were the proper length. Like some of them
Yeah.
felt too long, some of them felt too short. Just like the stories were not allowed to, I guess, just kind of play out naturally. Like I felt like again, like this one just kind of just sped to the finish line. No pun intended. It just it, like abruptly just got to the point that we needed to be at because it's like, oh hey, we're at the finale. So
Yeah, no. I think the only two villains that felt like complete to me were Bloodwork in a weird way, and Despero. And both villains were like supposed to come back. Like those stories weren't even finished. And
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. That's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, wasn't Despero supposed to be in season 10?
That's what he says. That's what Eric Wallace says. I don't know. Like, Eric Wallace has said a lot of things. Like, he wanted to do a whole Justice League like thing, and they wanted Legends 2-parters, and he wanted Max Mercury, and I don't know how much of it I should believe.
Can I
Eric
just
Wallace says
say
a lot of
something real
things.
quick? I agree with you. I feel like the problem is the interlude episodes. I think that's the biggest problem, because if you remove the interlude episodes, then you would have like a bigger arc, if you know what I mean. Like the Red Death arc could have been bigger, or the Cold Blue arc could have been bigger, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I don't think it's interlude episodes. I think that's fine. I think most shows have filler, or I guess old network TV has filler. It's what you're putting in those filler. Like I think look at the crossover events. Look at like King Shark versus Grodd. Like that was really cool. Flash Time was like interlude, I guess. I just think it depends on what they're doing, and they just didn't choose good ones this year, in my opinion.
Episode 9 is the definition of a filler or an interlude episode, but it was pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
It just, like you said, it just boils down to the actual content of those.
Sure.
You guys know what I just forgot about? We're still in our top 2. For
Yeah.
favorite
Oh yeah,
season.
Leaving the chat hanging.
Yeah.
What's everyone's top or two? I feel like everyone's top two are probably the same. I would assume.
Yeah.
Number 2 is season 1.
Yep, I'm
Okay.
right there with you. Season 1.
Oh, interesting. I have season 2 as my number 2.
I also have season 2.
Okay.
Oh,
We're
well, look at
split.
that, guys.
Which means my season 1 is,
Yeah.
or I guess
season
my
one.
number
Yeah.
1 is.
My number
is
1 is season
for me.
2. I
My
love
favorite
season
season
2.
is season 2. That's great. Yeah. There we go, guys. Look at us. We made
Yeah.
it.
So with that being said, I did kind of want to our kind of last segment of the episode to just kind of talk about some of our favorite moments from the series, just from the show, from this universe, from just like our memories from the show. I didn't ask any of you guys to like prepare anything beforehand, so I hope you guys have something.
I got it.
What do you guys think? Do you guys have any moments that like you guys like really want to talk about?
Nanites, courtesy of Ray Palmer. Best line I've ever heard in an episode. Season 1, like episode 18, 19, whatever it was. What? Wait, wasn't that a little bit further in the game? Maybe it was
No,
like...
that was the penultimate. That was with
Oh, it was?
yeah, that was with Oliver
Oh
Queen.
my god, I forgot where that was in the season. I forgot about that.
Which just that episode alone is in my top 10 probably.
Oh,
Like
so
having
good.
like Green Arrow, Firestorm, Flash teaming up to face off against Thawne is one of the most comic booky things possible. I love it.
Yeah, I like that moment. It was good.
So I wasn't watching live back then. Did people know that was happening, or did they just show up?
I definitely saw a set photo, and I almost wonder if it was from our boy Canada Graphs, because
It-
I
it
remember
might be.
seeing a photo of them, because I was like, he's in the league robes. That's what I remember.
No, I think that's one of the coolest things that like they ever did. Like it's one thing to have characters pop in, but like those two storylines directly like connected to each other, and both like characters ended each other's seasons. I think that's really
It was cool to see the Amels together too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Kind of sucks that was the only time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish we could have seen more Ronnie. Like I don't know how, like in a weird world I would have had Ronnie come back at some point. I think he could have been a cool member of Team Flash. I know he's doing a lot of things now. Like he had that like upload show, he has a new Amazon show happening. I think he's obviously doing better than like what CW can offer him, but
Sure.
it would have been cool to see him come back at some point. Taz, do you have any like moments that or like memories you want to look back on?
Well, I mean, I would say like a general memory would just be like speculating on masked characters, like, you know, Savitar speculation, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Just like theorizing, or even like when Nora first popped in and nobody knew who she was gonna be. Like, who's this mystery character? Like, I just think speculating on the mystery characters was very fun.
Yeah.
But if I had to pinpoint like a moment, I think it's kind of one that a lot of people will go back to. Back in season 1, first time Barry time traveled and everything like that.
Yeah.
It was at Out of Time, I believe,
Yeah.
and we got the, you know, Welzabard Thawne revelation. He was talking to Cisco and everything like that, and he, you know, does the vibrating hand trick, and he's like, "Forgive me, Cisco, but from where I'm from, you've been dead for centuries."
Yeah.
So, you know, that I'd say that's one of my favorite moments for
No.
sure.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite. I think that might be my favorite episode of any show.
I think
Like,
so
it's-
too, yeah.
It's so good. Like it's I think that I think season 1 and like that episode is on par with like what you would see in a lot of your like HBO or like Amazon like well-written TV shows.
I mean,
like
that could have been a movie. Like
Oh, yeah.
that two-parter there could have been a movie, just like season 2, the escape or going to Earth 2 and escape
Yeah.
from Earth 2. Like those arcs could have been movies.
100% agree. LBM talks about just the two scenes with Barry going back in time and stopping himself, and that whole like rotation is really really cool. And it is so weird because like early on I feel like we were all so obsessed with that scene. It's like, when is it going to happen? When is he finally going to do it? Along with so many things that didn't happen, like obviously the like Barry vanishes in Crisis, kind of, you know, like kind of like revisiting early on. There are a lot of things that never happened, but it is very cool that they did officially get to do that. Like there is a circle. So yeah.
I like the idea that why we don't see the blur is because Barry's going so fast that our young Barry doesn't. He can't even see that potential. I think that's kind of interesting.
Sure.
I think they just didn't want to do the blur. I think that's the reason why. But
I
I
think
like
they just
the
wanted to
headcanon,
show off
like-
the suit. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
that-
think
yeah,
they
I
wanted
like
to.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted us to see it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes
Or it's
sense
because
to me.
we're in his point of view now.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm trying to think of like favorite like memories. Like, there is.
There
something
is one
really-
thing I remember.
Go ahead.
Actually,
Go ahead.
I love the whole mystery of the man in the iron mask in season
Ooh.
Oh,
2.
that was really good.
Yeah,
that was
that was
really
solid.
I
good.
love that whole thing because it was telling us who is the guy under that mask, and we knew some people might knew it was Jay, like some people knew it was Jay, but some people didn't know. So it was kind of interesting. I was like, wow, I was kind of shocked actually when
Yeah.
I first saw that scene. I was like, when they revealed who the guy was, I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that was a cool mystery. I like in season 2 the Flash of Two Worlds. I know it wasn't the
Yes.
Jay, but it just gets me every time with the brick wall. I
Yeah.
like seeing the two Flashes meet. But yeah, the Iron Mask stuff, getting the real Jay, that was really
Oh,
cool.
so good. I love everything with just like John Wesley Shipp. Like they paid such a great legacy to that character. If it's Henry Allen, which I loved, if it was Jake Garrick that I loved, if it was 90s Flash that I loved.
I mean, that's
just such
even
a
the diner with the mug. I mean, that's
Oh,
it's
yeah, that's iconic
peak.
as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wish Grant could be in the Flash movie just where he can give that same exact speech to him. Like that'd be perfect.
Oh, that'd be the perfect cameo.
Oh yeah.
That'd be
it'd
amazing.
great. Yeah. Even though they kind of did it in season 5 with Nora, but oh well.
Right,
who cares?
right.
Who cares? I think there's something about that like Ezra Miller cameo though that was so special because like
No one
there's
knew
like
about
I
it.
can count on one hand how many things that we didn't know about going into like episode. Like it's very few times. Like we normally know everything. We had no idea. Like it was such a special moment, and such like a milestone thing to get like the people from like the tippity top, those top actors, to come in and do a scene. It was really cool. And I wish the movie would do something too. There's so many moments, man. Of course, I think the like trip to Earth 2 episodes are some of the best. The pilot is among some of my favorites of the whole show. Oliver
Man.
Queen and Barry stuff is always peak. It's
Oh,
always
yeah.
some of the best stuff. Chosen, do you have any more moments?
What was the other one? I did like the whole Savitar reveal. I actually like that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
I know I know some people are like, oh, it was kind of meh, but for me, I actually liked it because honestly, I thought it would be Eddie. Actually,
real.
I thought it
Who
would be
did everyone
Eddie.
think?
Man, that would have been cool. That would have been fine with me, honestly.
Who did everyone think it was?
I thought it was Ronnie for the longest time because of
Yeah.
how Killer Frost reacted to him coming out of the armor.
Sure.
I just always thought it was Barry.
Some
Really?
I
people,
think I always thought it was Barry.
you know, what's so funny. Some people thought Wally would be Savitar.
Oh,
I
you
wouldn't
know
have
what
hated
though? That episode where Barry goes to the future and he like goes around, sees the long hair wig version of himself. Like the way Wally was so screwed over, I was like, maybe it is Wally.
Yeah,
Could
and
you
the fact-
imagine seeing yourself fall? Like that would freak me out. That would probably break my
Sure.
psyche after everything he's been through. I
And the fact it was all like trading places in the Speed Force and stuff like
Yeah,
that. It would
sure.
have been like
Exactly.
poetic, I guess.
I think that could have worked. I think what makes the Savitar reveal like interesting to me and like it kind of gives me chills is the editing of that
Yeah.
scene, that sequence. It's some of the best editing the show has done.
The
It's
music.
brilliant. It's
Yeah.
That's how you make a story feel compelling and like cathartic that we went and saw all these things because we got flashbacks. But the flashbacks we get now is literally just a blue scale, color grade. Your 2 second. You remember that? You remember that? But then
Yeah.
like a cathartic moment of looking back on these moments, even if they're a little wishy-washy, it's still in the edit worked so much better.
It
Some of
makes
the
more
other stuff-
sense.
Yeah, and I think Savitar is better in hindsight now than I think he's ever been. That's why
Sure.
I really like season 3. Flashpoint should have been longer than it was. That was a mistake to not do that. But season 3 kind of holds up for me a lot better than I
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
You know, another thing I like about season 3,
Mhm.
the rival.
Rival was fun.
Man, you know, I was with
I just wish
That's
he had more
cute.
screen time. I just wish he had more screen time.
Yeah.
I think it was the helmet for me.
The helmet did look kind of weird, but the
It
rest
was
of
a
the
little
suit,
weird, but He was, you know what? He was the campy one. He was the start of the camp. Because he was campy.
That's
when he was
true.
around. Yeah,
He was fun though. Yeah.
Maybe I would have liked to seen him now. I would have liked to seen the rival now. You know,
maybe switch Rival and Godspeed in the series finale.
honestly, I would have been for it. only if Wally was in this finale.
Yeah.
You could have tied some BS back to Flash.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I think while we're still on the subject of season 3, I think another I guess iconic moment from that would be when we first figured out that like Iris dies in the future, and just kind of like the shockwave that like went over Barry, and just like theorizing on like, okay, is this actually gonna happen? How do we stop this?
That was actually pretty interesting. Actually, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like they had to go in there for a while. They're like, she could actually die.
Sure. I think that was the funnest time to talk about the Flash, because there was so many things. Like, we had 2 crossover events. We had everything with Savitar. We had like Abracadabra being like the Thinker. You know, I don't know. You know, we had so many different things. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I still love that musical episode. Like, I'm a fan of it. I have a lot of fun with that episode. And then like just like the amount of speedsters, like we have Barry, Wally, Jesse Quick, Savitar, we have like Killer Frost around, and we had all these, like, it was so
the
cool.
one guy, the accelerated man, was also in
yeah
yeah.
I feel so bad, man. He deserved something. He should have been in Crisis. Like, how cool would that have been?
That would have been cool.
I think my biggest thing with Crisis is, why didn't we have more multiverse characters that we already had like around? Like, you could have done like Accelerated Man, you could have done Jake Garrick, you could have done Ray and Citizen Cold. Like, those are the characters I think I would have preferred seeing over like Birds of Prey or whatever.
Remember the theory that Hunter Zolomon was or that there was like a version of Hunter Zolomon that was Accelerated Man. You literally had Teddy Sears back in the finale. You had Barry give people speed. You could have literally had him choose Earth Prime Hunter Zolomon, and he could have been Accelerated Man.
That would have been cool.
Perfect finale.
Yes. Yeah, you got me. Damn.
Yo, now that you mentioned something about Zoom.
That was great.
You guys know Zoom, right?
Thank you.
There's a lot of people that were thinking that Zoom was actually Henry from Earth 2.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was me, baby.
Oh really?
That was me, baby. Yeah. I was like, John Wesley Shipp's gonna be a villain this time. Because they like
he did voice.
It was like the first 2 episodes we get Henry back, and then he's like, yeah. So I'm like, this man's up to something.
I was so mad. I was so mad. We're like, we just got you.
He did voice Reverse Flash and Brave and the Bold, I believe.
He did?
Yeah. What a guy. He's goofy and whimsical.
But in a good way.
But in a really great way. Well, I think it's great all around. I just like, I'm in 2 separate minds about the show. The super serious first couple seasons, the way the story was going, and then the camp. Like, I love this show, but I also like it's a fine line between, am I critiquing it, making fun of it, making fun of the show like with the show instead of against it. There's like a different line that I tend to cross, because it's like at the end of the day, like I said, I think I'm gonna go back to this finale and be like, oh, they're just being silly. I'm just happy the show existed. It got me through a lot of stuff. It's fun to just joke around a little bit, but I don't know. It was something else. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think they needed to find a balance. And I don't know what that perfect balance would have been. Like, maybe season 6 is that middle ground, maybe.
I think season 6 definitely nailed the best at the transition.
Yeah. I think ideally, like, I would like a season 2 vibe. But if we have to be more goofy and silly and fun, I think season 6, and I guess even season 8 to like an extent, like I think that tone fit pretty well. But like even season 8, like it ends with Thawne ripping off his face. Like that's like and look back at season 4. Like season 4 is like I think easily the kind of goofiest that it gets, right? It's very slapstick. It's very like Ralph ends a battle with farting. Like it's very silly, but also like they killed like 12 people that season. Like they killed a lot of people. Like it gets dark still.
That hallway scene with the Thinker just
yeah.
yeah.
Iconic.
Yo, I have to go, guys, but this was fun.
Alrighty.
Nice talking to you.
Nice
Great
talking to
having
you
you.
too.
Here, the final race. The Flash.
Gorilla City was really cool too. I really liked Gorilla City.
I think Flash Time is obvious.
Mm.
Got to mention Flash Time. That was a great episode. I think I really like my favorite episodes. I'll reminisce on are the episodes where Grant really gets to shine at something, and I mean, just that episode was. I felt the stress, and I felt the swamp ass and sweat in that leather suit. Like I was like, I know I would be suffering right now every second of that episode, and that's one I like to frequently go back to. But same with like an emotional episode like the what is it, the Lost Dinosaur,
the Runaway
so
Dinosaur,
good.
Runaway Dinosaur,
Yeah.
which came back
fantastic as
which
well.
came back in this finale
Yes.
too.
Which
the
was
book,
nice, yeah.
That was nice to have.
That actually may have been my favorite thing that I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
a
was
great little
nice.
reference. I like
That
that.
was really nice.
I think another moment that's not talked about too much is I guess just the whole season 4 premiere. You know,
That was
with
pretty
Barry
fun,
getting out of the Speed Force and everything like that. Also, Wally was the Flash for about 5 minutes.
That was the first time I almost exited the show because I was really excited to see Wally grow out of Kid Flash and just be a Flash.
And then
I
they
thought
just
we were gonna get that.
then they just demoted him right back down to Kid Flash.
I thought they had learned their lesson from Flashpoint being one episode, but then they did it again. Barry's gone.
Like if they would have just given him his suit, like that same mask and everything like that, but just made it red.
Yeah.
Or something, you know?
I will say, I think that might be my favorite, like, opening to, like, a Flash premiere. Like, I think Vibe, Cisco, or Vibe, Wally, Joe, kind of all, like, being this, like, superhero unit force.
Oh, yeah.
So much
And
fun.
the Samuroid.
The Samuroid
Oh,
was
yeah.
sick.
And then
That thing
Peekaboo
was
was
cool.
always a character that I really like. I don't know why I like Peekaboo, but I thought she was a fun villain. Yeah, there's so many. You know what one I really like that I don't think gets talked about enough, and that's the Ralph scene from season 4 when he wants to kill the Thinker, and like Barry has to stop him. And there's that whole scene. I don't know if anyone remembers the scene, but there's a scene where it's like, no, like you guys are my family. Like I want to protect you. I would jump into a burning furnace to save your life because you're the only family I have left. And like, you know, I think it's kind of awkward to talk about Ralph now because everything that happened. But like that was a moment where I was like, okay, this guy's, I kind of really like this guy. And then the following episode, he freaking dies. I think it's really funny. Barry he was hurt when Ralph died, and then Caitlin dies this season, and it's like, oh, you cared more about Ralph. Okay.
I will say that even with all of the things with the actor, I missed the character. I felt like he had a great story, and I think there was a lot of potential for him. I think the character might not have lasted until this long, but he would have been a lot more interesting to have this late in the game than someone like Mark. What's his name? Like the superhero name? Chillane?
Yeah.
Chillane? Yeah. I would have rather had Ralph.
Yeah, no, I mean, I talked about it over and over again. I think season 7 suffered so bad because they literally, like, they lost everyone all at once. Like, they lost Cisco, Ralph, Wells, like, Candace wasn't there, Joe was off screen. Like, they had no one left, and they were left with the like, Z team that they had to make up with, I guess.
Yeah. And it's sad to think, too, like, obviously Grant can't be in every scene of every episode, but it's just sad to think that we lost a lot of side characters, and instead of focusing on our lead more, they decided to just focus on more side characters.
Yeah. That's a fatal flaw of the show.
100%. 100%. But I don't want to keep you guys too long tonight. I bet, Buddy, you have a bunch of stuff to do. But you guys kind of have we want to get you back to some South Park. I'm
actually rewatching It's Always Sunny again.
Oh, really? I'm actually watching it for the first time. So.
Oh, where are you at right now?
Season 2. I'm very early on.
You're in for some treats. I'll tell you that. Got a lot of seasons to go.
oh yeah, there's a bit there. But you know, obviously this is the end of everything. Do you have any final thoughts, final feelings, final whatevers before I let you guys out of here?
Across the board, I love the Arrowverse. Very cool. Honestly,
Yes.
like the thing that out of all of the franchises I love, I have just spent too much time
Oh,
researching, making videos, watching videos again and again, the episodes again and again, buying
yeah.
the merchandise of the Arrowverse. Like this is the shit for me. It always clicked for me. And to see it go out, it is such a shame. But over the years, it has disappointed me time and time again. I'm glad a couple things were gone. I'm glad of the times that I had with the show, growing with these shows. The Flash ending is a huge hole in my heart, but I think I'm going to get over it and I'll have good memories
Yeah.
of this moving forward. But it is definitely a closing of a chapter for my enjoyment of stuff like this. This is definitely a
Sure.
closure for me. And I think it's really cool to have come on here and talk to you guys right after. I think that I'm grateful for that, and thanks for talking with me, both of you guys, for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely very well said. Like, I have a lot of feelings about this finale. I think it's going to take, a couple days of letting it just kind of sit to actually, I think,
Yeah.
kind of really like comprehend how this feels as a finale. But just the Arrowverse overall, like we've all been saying, has been such a massive part of our lives for so many years, and it's just crazy to think like, what are we gonna do now? Kind of like Thawne at
Yeah.
the end of season 1. I've been controlling your life for so long, Barry. What are you gonna do without me? Like, it's very similar to that in that aspect. Like, I'll always be grateful for just the content that we've been able to watch, to create, the friendships we've been able to have because of our common interest in the Arrowverse and everything. And I think that that's just the biggest takeaway from it, is that it was a very important part of our lives that
Yeah.
we won't soon forget.
Yeah, no, and I also think it's worth mentioning that like this franchise definitely like changed the medium like forever. Like this was kind of like, there's Smallville and there's stuff, but like the way that these shows happened, they changed the realm of superhero TV forever. And it's also weirdly enough one of the last of its kind. Like superhero TV in the way that we've known it. Like this, after we have this, Superman, Lois, and Gotham Knights, and then that's it for like prime time like network superhero shows. That's it. And that's sad. Like I hope we get more at some point. I hope they're I hope what James Gunn is doing somehow can like, even if it's just a little bit, like somewhat capture the magic that this did in its prime. I think that'd be great. And I will miss it a lot. I like just like you said, I don't know what I'm going to do without it. Like I don't know. Like I'm at a point where it's like rewatch maybe. I don't know. Like what do I do without it? But it's been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing like seriously. It's been like what 39 seasons or something. Like that's a massive accomplishment. I cannot think of a franchise that has gone to that lengths.
Exactly. And just the amount of like ambitious crossovers and just,
Yeah.
Think about, there was a time where we basically had a new show on every day of the week.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that we've gone from that to now, just one Arrowverse show to that, just being the end. So
Sure.
Yeah, it's I feel like the Arrowverse gets a lot of unwarranted hate because of its limitations on
Yeah.
the network it's on, but it is like, just speaking on it, it's impressive that any of this shit happened. Any of
Oh,
the
yeah.
big, really cinematic things they were able to pull off. Like that's one of a kind. We have the day of streaming, which is the new network TV, and we're gonna get different superhero shows on there. We already are starting to experience that. And we're going to see more with James Gunn and Marvel moving forward. But it's like nothing is going to be this again.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to pull off such a high quality world building bubble was really cool. And even if it teetered off, even if things dipped, the fact that it happened and it happened the way it did, that's really impressive. And I think it should only be looked upon like as a positive thing because it did so much. For sure. And like our entire weeks were filled with it at some point. Like, that's crazy.
That's
insane.
And I know, as much as we'd like to come on here and give our critiques and our criticisms and everything like that, it's something that Darren and I discussed on our stream earlier on Sunday is that we only critique these things and criticize them because we love these shows, and we wouldn't be sitting down talking about them as much as we do, nitpicking things, but also pointing out all of the things that we really love about them if we weren't, sitting down and enjoying these shows week to week.
You're muted. You're muted. Beautiful words, but we can't hear you.
I knew that. I was just testing you.
Oh, okay.
What was I saying? I have no idea. But no. I think like you were saying, I think it's like limitations is almost what made it special. Like, there's never going to be a DC universe like this ever again. Like we're never going to start with Green Arrow ever again. And then of course Flash is a bigger name, but like Flash is even a bigger name now. And so is Supergirl, and now is Batwoman, and now is like the Atom, and all these characters, and like we've created so many amazing characters. Like now I hope that we'll see more of like Dreamer, or like a John Diggle, or maybe even a Wells, like in like if it's the comic book, if it's the animated movies. Like I definitely think it's affected the landscape. Like I know this is probably not a positive for many people, but I think Green Arrow comics are going to be different forever because of Arrow. Like I think we'll see like John Diggle and like Felicity Smoke more in the comics and stuff like that. So like Ryan Wilder is in comics now. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's done so much. It's done a lot. There's been a lot of different qualities. Some of my favorites in all of comic book anything. Some's not great. But I'm glad that I got that go on this ride for sure. So with that being said, I want to give a amazing shout outs to both Buddy, Taz, and King Vader for being here with me. My last live talk, I guess, for an Arrowverse show ever. I'll try and find a way to milk out as much content as I possibly can for the last next year. I'll be there for that. And I hope to have you guys back soon. It's something. It may not be Arrowverse, but it's,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Secret Invasion's coming up. Boys maybe coming back soon. I don't know.
Let me know. I need to catch up on the boys.
Oh, I'm so excited. Gen V's this
it.
year, I think, which I'm excited for.
Oh, we're not getting season 4 this year?
It's Gen V this year, and then Boys next year, I think.
I want season 4 so bad.
I mean, Loki's coming up. I like Loki. I like me some Loki.
Loki's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah,
definitely will be. But I guess I'll just see you guys on the flip side.
Yes.
Ride the lightning.
Somewhere in the Speed Force, boys.
Run, Barry, run.
Run down the city.
We are the Flash.
We are. Courtesy of Ray Palmer. What other references can I remember?
It was me, Barry.
Oh, it was you, Barry. That's a whole nother franchise.